Hello, I hope this video finds you well. Tonight we're going to look at has22 from list 2, and this is the Python solution. The problem states, given an array of ints, return true if the array contains a 2 next to a 2 somewhere. And we can look at the examples here. We have 1, 2, 2, and that returns true. We see these two 2's next to each other. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, that's false. And we have 2, 1, 2, and that's false, because there's no situation where there's two 2's next to each other. Now something that jumps out at me at this problem right away is that we can exit as soon as we find a 2, 2 situation. And it's always nice to, when you're dealing with a problem such as this, is to always identify if it's a type of problem that as soon as you find an answer you can stop. Because what that means is there will be a return statement inside the loop. And that is essentially in the situation we find we want. So I'm just going to put here return false, and I'll hit go. Oh, capital F, because, you know, this is Python. And we see we just return false in all cases. And look at that, I get like 50%. Maybe we should move on. No, that's not. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to write a pretty standard loop. So I'm going to say for I in range. And I'm going to go from 0 to the length of nums, and I'm going to increment by 1. And what I'm essentially going to do is if I take this example here, I'm just going to put it here as a comment, nums equals this. And I'll just come across and we're going to get these indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. And what I essentially do is I'm going to look at two spots at a time. I'm going to look at an index and then the one after it. And I'm going to say, if this is a 2 and that's a 2, then I'm going to return true. So I want to get my loop parameters set up properly. So if this is my first case, I see that this first one is going to represent I, so I is going to start at 0. And in the last case, let's put this down below, there's my last case, it's going to be ix. So let me just show you, if I just wrote this right now, we can write the if statement pretty easily. We're going to say if nums at I, well, can't type right now, is equivalent to 2, and nums at I plus 1 is equivalent to 2, we're going to return true. Basically, I'm going to check the two elements that are next to each other and check if they're both to return true. And if I hit go, I get an index out of bounds. And that's because currently the loop goes to there. So I try and access an index that is beyond the indexes for the list. So what I need to do is I need to generalize this. So in this case, if I have a length here equal to 4, I want the I to be less than 3, which is going to be 4 minus 1. So it's going to be nums.length minus 1. I hit go, and there it is. Now this is a good opportunity, you know, often I see two students approach it this way. I want to just talk about this as well. What students sometimes do as well is, let's just take all of this, let's copy this, we'll come down here and paste it. We can equally go, there we go, and I can do it like this instead. So notice what's happening in this case is I'm going to use I, and I'm going to say I minus 1. So this would be I minus 1, and this would be I. And in this case, that would be my last case here. So again, if I just run this as is, make sure it doesn't work all the time. Now, you might ask the question is, why doesn't this crash? Well, the reason why this doesn't crash is that in this case, if you go past the indexes on the list, you end up getting an index out of bounds because there's no index 4. Let's take this example. We have a length of 4 and the index is stop at 3. But Python has this interesting notation that if you pass a negative value, it's going to take that value from the end of the list. So that's why you don't get an index out of bounds error here, but you will notice that everything is incorrect. Well, not everything, but a lot of it, because what's happening is this will say when I is 0, this is going to be nums at -1, which would be the last element in the list. So what we do here is if we look at our setup here, I see that I want I to start at 1. So let's put a 1 there, and then I needs to reach the last index, so it's just going to be it's less than nums.length, and I hit go, and it works as well. Both of these are valid approaches. What I like to draw out in this situation down here is that Python has this interesting notation that if you pass a negative value into an index, it actually goes from the end of the list. And that works as substring as well. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a wonderful day.